He is the god of the Underworld, one of the richest and most powerful gods in Greek mythology. For centuries, Hades has been seen as the villain for Greek mythology, the dark and brooding god of death. But what if I told you Hades wasn't a villain at all? What if history has been unfair to him? Today, on the World of Stories, we tell the true story of Hades, the misunderstood god of the dead. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Our story begins long before Hades ruled the underworld, before the Olympian gods even existed. Titans reigned supreme, led by their king, Kronos, who ruled all of the cosmos, which is the Greek word for all that is. We call it the universe. Kronos was rather paranoid, fearing that his own children would one day overthrow him. The reason he felt this way was because Kronos himself had overthrown his father, Ouranos, and before his father fled underground, he cursed Kronos to one day be destroyed by his own children, just like he had done with his father. So when Kronos had children, one by one, he swallowed them whole. Firstborn was Hestia, a little girl, then Hades, then Demeter, then Poseidon, and lastly Hera, were all swallowed up by their father in order of birth. But with a plan formed between Rhea, their mother, and Gaia, their grandmother, one child escaped this fate: Zeus. Raised in secret, Zeus grew strong and plotted his revenge. When time came, he forced Kronos to vomit up his siblings in reverse order, so that now Hades, who had been the second to be born, was now considered the second youngest. I guess this made sense to the Greeks. Now united, the young gods waged war against the Titans in an epic battle that would decide the fate of the world. This was the Titanomachy, a brutal 10-year war between gods and Titans. Each god played their role, but Hades, Zeus, and Poseidon were the strongest because each of them had a great weapon forged by the three Cyclopes. Poseidon had his famous trident, Zeus had his thunderbolt, and Hades had the helmet of invisibility. Also known as the Helm of Darkness, this weapon didn't just make the wearer invisible, but completely concealed their presence from all senses, making the user undetectable. Beyond that, it made the user completely silent and created an aura of dread, making enemies around it panic. The helmet represented Hades' secretive nature, who, unlike Zeus and Poseidon, stayed out of sight and ruled quietly. It symbolized death itself, unseen, inevitable, and beyond mortal perception. Hades would sometimes lend the helmet to Hermes and Athena, and one time to Perseus as well, who used it to kill Medusa. With the helmet, Hades would slip into enemy lines undetected, melting into the shadows and striking when the enemy least expected, contributing immensely to the victory of the gods. When the Titans were finally defeated, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades divided the cosmos in the divine lottery, each brother drawing lots to determine their domains. Zeus claimed the sky, Poseidon took the seas, and Hades was left with the underworld. Some say he was tricked, others say he accepted his role willingly. Either way, his fate was sealed. While his brothers ruled the heavens and the oceans, Hades would forever be bound to the land of the dead. From then on, Hades rarely left his realm, becoming increasingly reclusive and moodier. But to his credit, unlike Zeus and Poseidon, who constantly sought power, Hades never tried to overthrow his brothers, he simply ruled his domain. Unlike the Christian concept of hell, however, the underworld was a balanced and structured realm. There were the Elysian Fields, a paradise for heroes, Tartarus, the prison for the wicked, and the Asphodel Meadows, where ordinary souls wandered for eternity. And despite popular belief, Hades was not a cruel ruler. He didn't judge the dead, he merely kept the natural order in his realm. He was not a tyrant, nor was he seeking to conquer Olympus, unlike Zeus and Poseidon, who were constantly involved in drama, Hades just ruled efficiently and quietly. But no story about Hades is complete without mentioning Persephone, his wife and queen of the underworld. The story goes that Hades saw Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, in a field of bloom and fell in love. One day, while she was picking flowers, the earth split open and Hades took her to the underworld. Her mother, Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, was devastated. She refused to let crops grow, making all the food die and plunging the world into famine. Eventually, Zeus intervened, demanding Hades return Persephone, and he relented. But there was one problem. Before Hades let Persephone go, he gave her 6 pomegranate seeds from the underworld, and those that eat food from the underworld are bound to it, making Persephone tethered to the underworld forever. In the end, a compromise was reached. She would spend 6 months in the underworld as queen, and 6 months on earth with her mother. And thus, the seasons were born, as Demeter would rejoice with her daughter's presence and brood over her absence. Some say Persephone grew to love Hades, and that she took the pomegranate seeds willingly to stay with him. Others say Persephone just wanted to escape her overprotective mother. Even others say she was just abducted. What is certain is that Hades loved her truly, and out of all of the Olympian gods, he was probably the most faithful to his wife. Unlike Zeus and Poseidon, he had no mistresses, no countless affairs. He was loyal to Persephone, unlike his brothers, who were constantly seducing mortals and causing chaos. Beyond that, Hades usually stays out of Greek myths, making very few appearances, but some of the tales in which he appears are some of my favorites. In the 12th labor of Hercules, Hades allowed him to borrow Cerberus, the 3-headed dog that guarded the entrance to his realm, so that Hercules could free himself from servitude on the condition that he wouldn't hurt the dog and would return him after he had completed the task. In the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice, Hades gave Orpheus the chance to bring his wife back to life. Orpheus had sung the most beautiful love song ever made, softening the heart of Hades for the only ever time. Hades allowed Orpheus to leave his realm with his wife without being punished, on the condition that Orpheus would not look back until he had left the underworld. But Orpheus failed. Despite all of this, however, somewhere along the way, Hades became a villain. In modern adaptations like Disney's Hercules, he's depicted as a duplicitous, scheming god. But in actual mythology, that perception is both wrong and incomplete, because he is so much more than that. Hades isn't just the god of the dead, he represents deep, powerful, and often misunderstood aspects of existence, like life, death, wealth, fate, and justice. Hades is the ultimate symbol of mortality, a reminder that death is inevitable, but he doesn't kill or bring death, he simply governs the natural order. He represents acceptance of the unknown, transition from life to whatever comes next. He doesn't punish or reward souls. He ensures fairness in the afterlife in his structured domain, showing his role as a lawful god. The Greeks also associated Hades with underground wealth, because gold, silver, precious gems all come from beneath the earth. This connection led to his Roman name, Pluto, the wealthy one. He symbolizes hidden potential, things of great value that exist beneath the surface, both literally and metaphorically. Hades rarely interacted with the living, making him a mystery even among the gods. He represents the unknown, things that people fear but don't fully understand. His helmet of invisibility, Helm of Darkness, reinforces this theme, making him both present and unseen at the same time. And, unlike Zeus and Poseidon, Hades was faithful to Persephone, symbolizing commitment and enduring love. His story with Persephone reflects transformation and compromise, two forces that bring balance. It also symbolizes the cycle of life and seasons, with Persephone spending half of the year on the underworld and half of it on Earth. So Hades is not just the god of death, he represents the inevitability of fate, hidden riches of the world, fairness and justice, the unknown and unseen, and finally, he represents loyalty and commitment in the cycles or seasons of life. Rather than an evil figure, Hades is a necessary force, the guardian of balance in the cosmos, and truly a fascinating character. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the World of Stories. We are on a journey to tell the world's best stories and to entertain you guys as much as possible. So I just really want to say thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Please don't hesitate to comment any suggestions, any things you want us to cover next. I just want to say a massive thank you guys so much for the growth I've been seeing in this channel. It's truly overwhelming. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and see you next time.